Hey everybody, it's Citrus, and it sucks to do Redstone without any tools. Just look at Java. They've got hundreds of mods built around making the technical Minecrafters experience better. Even my rather light Java client has 19 mods installed. But this isn't a Java video, so how do we, as Bedrock Redstoners, make our lives easier? Now, unfortunately, we don't have all the performance mods, nor do we have any of the deep analysis tools like Redstone Multimeter. In fact, Bedrock can't even have mods. Still, we do our best to make the design process as smooth as possible. I've compiled a list of the 4 tools that I use the most, and I'll go through each of them one by one, giving a surface level introduction. If you decide you want to use any of these tools, I'll have everything linked in the description. Let's start it off simple with something you can use in your survival world without even turning off achievements. The Technical Minecraft Resource Pack. Now, this is a pack by Mad Hatter, and I cannot overstate how useful it is. Even as just a resource pack, it provides heaps of utility that I seriously don't have time to go over everything in this video. Instead of covering it all, which Hatter did in a very informative video that I'll link in the description, I'll show you my favorite parts of it. The absolute most useful tool in TechRP is the chunk border visualization. In Bedrock, chunk borders are a life or death for the simplest of contraptions. These observers reading trapdoors can be an example. If I push this button, it's kind of hard to see, but the lamp on the right will sometimes turn on and off slightly before the lamp on the left. And now this is unexpected behavior. These trapdoors turn on and off at the exact same time. So why are my lamps turning on at different times? Well, I can activate the TechRP chunk border visualization by just putting this firework in my offhand, and this yellow wireframe pops up around me. And now not only does it have these convenient cardinal directions, but the yellow walls, and I have no idea how Hatter pulled this off, but they are aligned with the borders of the chunk that you are standing in. So now if I go over here to the trapdoor that was being inconsistent, I can easily diagnose it as the observer was reading this trapdoor across a chunk border. And problems like these pop up all the time. Obviously, you're going to be using observers in a contraption a lot. So having TechRP to visualize the chunks allows you to diagnose the problem before it even happens, or figure it out, or what's causing it once you do start having problems. Another useful tool to have with TechRP is the ability to visualize things with armor stands. Now I've got just 4 of these things here. For example, if I put a stick into this armor stand, it will visualize simulation distances. And now these are common simulation distances, just 4, and it's aligned with the chunk that it's in, so I don't need to align it to any specific block. It'll show me simulation distance 4. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 chunks out, simulation distance 6, 8, and way over there you can see 10 and 12. And these are great for when you're planning out builds that require huge sizes. And if I give it a blank, you'll see it's a sphere. This is the despawn sphere, specifically for simulation distance 4. But it gets better. If I switch the stance of this armor stand, you'll see it goes to the despawn sphere of simulation 6, and it's aligned with the chunks. Simulation 6 has a special despawn sphere, where if they get into certain chunks that you're surrounded by, the mobs will instantly despawn. It also shows the vertical despawn sphere, which is actually a sphere, and where the mobs start spawning. And this is invaluable. It's incredible while designing large mob farms, especially with split density, because you know your split density is going to be there, 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 and in the same chunk that the armor stand is standing in. It even does some of the less massive things, like show you where the optimal layout is for planting sugarcane, or whatever sugar does. I'm not sure. Again, Mad Hatter has a full list of all the things that the armor stands can do in his video, including the explanation for what this is. While we're still in the land of resource packs, I want to give an honorable mention to Bedrock Tweets, who has a whole section devoted to uh, technical changes to resource packs. It includes really useful things like being able to see when a hopper is locked and the direction that it's facing, texturing the side of sticky pistons to show that it's sticky, cleaner redstone dust, and I love this. I will never not use this. Directional observers, and these are things that you would have absolutely no idea what you were looking at if you weren't using these resource packs. So they're incredibly useful, and I absolutely recommend you go down to Bedrock and get some of these resource packs. Entering the world of behavior packs, we get a big jump in what we're able to do. I'll start with Canopy, an incredible pack being developed by Forested Light. The easiest way to explain the extent of this pack is to run the /help command and scroll. It just keeps going and going and going. And each of these lines is a different rule that allows you to control your world in some way. I'll scroll all the way to the top here. There we go. We finally reached the top. I'll hit some of the highlights of the rules that I use most often. /tick provides control over the speed that the game operates at. This clock is running at the normal 2.5 times per second, but if I run a /tick 25, that stands for 25 MSPT. My bad. 100. It's going to run at half the speed, which is 100 milliseconds per tick, compared to a normal of 50 milliseconds per tick. If I reset that, it's going to go back to its original speed. /CS is an invaluable tool for looking inside of complex mechanisms. If you really need to look inside of something and you can't walk inside of it, then using /CS is a convenient way of getting inside of it. What makes it better than spectator mode is if I type in /CS again, it's going to put me right back where I was. This can also be used as a rather convenient camera tool in survival mode if you can get past the rather cheaty nature of it. /health will show the general performance of the world, including a count of the entities in every dimension, including the total, the TPS, and MSPT. You can see HiveTech CMP is currently running on 8 MSPT. /info is a fully customizable info display. You can see it up in the top right corner of the screen. If I scroll up in the /help page, there we are. The info display section. You can see a list of all the things that I can show. I can show your cardinal facing direction, the TPS of the game, whether you're in a slime chunk or not, heck, even the moon phase. And each of these things are toggleable. You can see I don't have the moon phase active right now. If I do /info moon phase true, there, now I can see that we are on a new moon in the HiveTech CMP. I'm not so sure why I would need to know that, so I'm going to turn it back. A very useful feature of /info is the what am I looking at, the waylist. It shows not only the block that you're looking at, but the inventory of a block within an inventory that you're looking at, and the signal strength of redstone components in your field of view. It also has a bunch of features that enhance or modify the survival experience. An example of this would be replicating Java's TNT duping. You can see I'm activating it just by having a node block next to the TNT. Or Java's Bedrock breaking with pistons. Or the flip and arrow, which is equivalent to Java's flip and cactus, which makes building complex structures in survival so much easier. He also has a handful of add-ons that add more features to play with. There's one that tracks detailed per-player statistics on a scoreboard, so you can compete with your friends on things like blocks mined, entities killed, or tools broken. Amylix, the server I'm on right now, which is hosted by Forest, has this add-on. So you can see everyone's stats rolling by. For example, no one's broken any tool, which is rather impressive considering that we've mined all of this by hand. You can also see minutes played here, where Raymond is in the lead. And I am slacking, apparently. As cool as the info display is, my personal favorite in Canopy will always be Understudy, which is its version of Fake Player. I go over here and run a /player. Hello, join. Mr. Hello will join the game, looking in the same direction that I'm looking, and I can manipulate him in all sorts of ways. You can place blocks, break blocks, attack things. I can attack him. And it's simple enough to make them leave once more. And this is all hosted inside the server. There's no one behind the keyboard of Mr. Hello here. You can see he left. And will stay gone until I summon him once more. The thing I've shown today of Canopy barely scratches the surface of what it adds to the game. An entire video, hell, an entire series could be devoted to what this add-on can do. Being a relatively new add-on, new features come in frequently, and Canopy is quickly updated to be compatible with the most recent version of the game. I really can't thank Forrest enough for all the work he's put into Canopy this far, and I can't wait to see where it goes in the future. Second of the two add-ons I want to show today is World Edit. Most of you are probably familiar with World Edit already. It's been around in Java for ages. As of maybe the last year or so, maybe longer, and there's also a version of World Edit available for Bedrock Edition. The port is made by Silicon, Silicon, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and it receives updates along with the typical update cycle of Minecraft. Even in the last few months, World Edit for Bedrock Edition has really improved. Now you can edit parts of the world you aren't even loading. The visuals are really clean, the commands are intuitive, and it easily sits on the podium of I cannot live without. For those of you who have somehow avoided learning what World Edit is, I can give a quick demo of it working. I have some art here, and let's say I want to give him a friend. I can run semicolon wand. Semicolon is the quote-unquote slash for World Edit. I can use the place button and the break button to select either corner of my selection, look this way, and run semicolon stack 1. Now there's 2 of them. Say I want to make this one purple. I can run semicolon replace red underscore concrete purple underscore concrete. And now it's purple. If I want to move it somewhere else, I can run semicolon copy or semicolon cut. I can also run flip, which flips along the axis that you're looking down. I can also run rotate and then degrees, which rotates, and then paste, of course, which will paste whatever I've done. There's also an excellent feature in undo, which lets you undo the things that you did. Contained inside World Edit is a personal favorite of mine. You can get this tool by running semicolon tool RAPL and then air. I'm not sure why you need to add a block there. Push enter and you get a replace tool. You break to set the tool and place to use the tool. You can see there that I just replaced that gold block with an iron block without ever breaking it. This repeater stayed perfectly fine. I can turn that into an iron block too if I want. The last tool I want to showcase today is Structura. Now, this is another pack that has parallels to a Java pack again called Lightmatica. You might be familiar with it. It allows Java players to visualize the builds that they're working on so they don't have to memorize them or build them from screenshots. Moving to Discord for a moment, I can show how to convert a structure to a structura. Now, I'm over here in Breaking Mad, which is Mad Hatter's Discord. Now, of course, Structura is by Mad Hatter. So he hosts this bot that lets people convert whatever structure they want into a Structura. For example, if I want to turn Flipper into a Structura, I can run /invert and then in my file for Flipper, which is a .mc structure file. Press enter, and then we wait a moment. I'll speed this up. And there we go. The pack has been created. I can download it and upload it into Minecraft. I can load in the pack that I just downloaded. Go to Global Resources, My Packs, and activate the pack. And then into a world here. In a world now, I can find a armor stand. Place down your armor stand, facing towards the -Z. And there we go. And you can see that Flipper is now visualized inside of my world. And none of this is interactable. I can fly through this. But it shows you a rather convenient display of what you need to see. You can go layer by layer, and it will show you everything you need to build. Now, this is incredibly useful for those big and complex builds being built in survival, and it really speeds up the process. I was using Structura to build this giant fish as a map art. You can see all the structure blocks that I placed to get the structures to make Structura. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'll post everything that I talked about in the description, and thank you to all the people who made these packs. I don't know what I would do without them.